Hi, somebody on Formspring asked me the question, name your top 10 favorite boy and girl names, and I figured I would do a video about it. So this is it, and I hope you like it. My number one boy name, let's start with those first, is Jacob or Jacob. Jacob means supplanter, it's a Hebrew name, and I looked it up what supplanter means, and it is one who wrongfully or illegally seizes and holds the place of another. A usurper, offender, wrongdoer, or claim jumper. It's not a very good meaning, let's be honest. But the name is classic and it sounds beautiful, so I guess I'll just look over that. Number two is Johannes or Johannes. It is the Dutch and Scandinavian form of John. It means God is gracious. And I love that name. I have loved it for a very long time. And it is number two on my list. The third boy name is Arthur. I have loved Arthur ever since I heard of the King Arthur legends. I'm a big fan. It is a Welsh name and it means bear. I love the boy names that have these strong, powerful meanings, like Peter means rock, Arthur means bear, stuff like that. I think that sounds very manly and masculine, and I like that. Number four is James. James has the exact same meaning as Jacob, and it is a Hebrew name. So meaning might not be very good, but it's a classic name and I think it sounds very nice. Number five is Charles. Charles is a German name which means free man, so that's very pretty too. I like Charles. It's another classic name that I really love. You can tell I'm a fan of classic names. Six is Edward. Edward is an English name which means wealthy guardian. It's a total coincidence, by the way, that both Jacob and Edward are in my top 10. That has nothing to do with Twilight. I'm just clearing that out. Number seven is Alexander. Alexander is a Greek name which means defender of the people. I think that meaning is so beautiful. The meaning alone for me is a reason for it to be in my top 10. Number eight is Robert. Robert means bright fame. It's an English name. It's also a classic. For a very long time, sorry, I'm stuttering. For a very long time, I didn't like the name Robert, but it has grown on me very much lately. And here it is in my top 10. Number nine is Richard. Richard is a name that, like Robert, I didn't like for a very long time, but then I read these books and the main character is called Richard and now I love it. It's an English name and it means brave ruler. So yeah, even that meaning is great. How can an opinion change about a name, right? And then lastly, number 10, which is Merlin. Merlin is a Welsh name which is derived from Myrddin, and Myrddin means sea fort. It's also a King Arthur name. What can I say? I'm a huge fan. But here also I prefer the Dutch pronunciation, which is Merlijn. And I think that sounds so pretty. And so that was my top 10 for boy names. Let's get on to the girl names. Number one is Artemis, who was the Greek goddess of the moon and the hunt. A lot of you have been telling me that Artemis is a boy's name. I have never heard that before. To me, Artemis is a completely female name. So, yeah, number one on the girls list. Number two is Belle, without the E at the end. I looked it up and here it says that Belle is an English name which means beautiful. For me, it's just Tinkerbell without the tinker. I'm a huge Peter Pan fan and Well, my name is Wendy, so it's not too hard being a Peter Pan fan. But Belle, yeah, I would definitely call a daughter of mine Belle. Number 3 is Elvie. The meaning of Elvie is, it's my favorite meaning of all the names in the top 10. Elvie, how I write it, is derived from Elvie without the E, which is derived from Elvina, which is derived from Elvin, and Elvin is originally a boy's name, and that means elf friend. It's an English name. And I love every book that has elves in it. I'm a huge Tolkien fan. So for me, elf friend is like the best meaning a name can have. So Elvie, I think that sounds so beautiful too. Number 4 is Laura. Laura is a Latin name and it means laurel. And I think it sounds so pretty and feminine. Number 5 is Elizabeth. I like Elizabeth too. It's a Hebrew name and it means God is my oath. So yeah, Elizabeth. Number 6 is Grace. Grace is a virtue name, so the meaning is quite clear. I have only recently started loving this one because usually I try to find names that are that sound well and that even Dutch people can pronounce well, since I live in a Dutch-speaking country. But the name Grace is so beautiful that I would give it even if people here have a hard time pronouncing it. Number 7, Rose. Of which the meaning is also quite clear, of course, and it's a classic girl's name. I also really like the Dutch pronunciation, which is quite similar, but it's Roos. Number 8 is Etta. Yes, it's because of Etta James, the blues singer. I have a CD of hers and I love it so much, and the name itself is very pretty too. So Etta. Number 9 is Calliope. Calliope is a Greek name which means beautiful voiced, and Calliope was also the first of the 9 Greek muses, and she was the muse of music. I prefer Calliope spelled with a K. I don't know why. I just like it better that way. Number 10 is Blues. Blues used to be really high in my top 10, but it has gone down a few notches in the last few months. It's just like the music, the blues. Yeah, people always ask me like, how did you get to that name? And it just sounds so pretty to me, and I like the music, the blues. So I figured, yeah, why not? But I don't know, it sounds stranger and stranger every time I read it. So yeah, who knows, next time I make my top 10 it might not even be in there anymore. So this was my top 10 for boy names and girl names. I hope you didn't think the video was too long. If you did, leave me a comment below, if you even got to this point, of course. And tell me, should I shorten it up? Should I be more, less about the meaning, less about how I feel about it? Tell me, what's your feedback? And what did you think about my names? And I hope you liked it. See you next time. Bye. Number 2 is Belle. Damn it. Number 2 is Belle. Without the B at the end. Okay. Number 2 is Belle. Without the E ending.